Yeah. Again, I'm in Ballard and trying to get to know my neighbors.
Okay.
And it's a time for people to get to know you, James, and know what your story is.
Right.
But I start at the beginning of James. Where were you born? Where were you born and raised?
I was born in Biloxi, Mississippi, and I was pretty much raised in Florida. Orlando, Florida, Central Florida area.
How long were you in Mississippi?
Oh, just when I was born. I don't remember it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I didn't stay there very long. Biloxi, actually. My dad was in the Air Force, so I was born in an Air Force base. So, yeah, Biloxi, and then we moved to, I think, Kansas, and then we moved to a couple other places, Georgia, and then Florida.
Well, tell me about Florida. What do you remember about your home life? And what that was
Florida,
like?
I mean, Florida's hot. It's hot.
That's what I hear.
It's rough because the heat, man. It's nice, like, sometimes, but it's just, you can't even go to your car without having to get AC. I mean, it's bad, bro. It makes you mean. It really does. It makes you mean because it's just so hot. You go somewhere you're trying to leave, you go to somewhere else, and yeah, it's no good. You come up here and it's like I'm still think it's cold. Like right now, I think it's cold, which is I know it's not, but I bring the jacket everywhere I go because I'm from Florida, so I always feel like I'm gonna be cold. You know what I mean? Because it's so hot down there. Like right now, it's probably 90 degrees.
Did you have brothers and sisters growing up?
Yeah, I got a sister. I got an older sister and a younger brother.
Yeah, what did you guys do for fun when you guys were growing up?
Man, swimming mostly. Stay in the water, because that's the only way to stay cool. We go to the river, we float down the river, stuff like that. Mostly, if anything, it was in the shade, or it was basically inside, because yeah, it's always hot. Like here is paradise. Like I think it rains more there than it does here, honestly, to me. When the rain's different there. It's hot there. Like when it rains here, it's cool, and there ain't no cool rain down there.
Tell me about your home life. Were you raised with mom and dad?
Yeah, I was raised with mom and dad, and my mom and dad are still alive and still together. So I think it's like 44 years or something like that. But yeah, I just got off the phone with my dad on Father's Day. My mom's doing good, my dad's doing good, my sister and my brother. So they're all doing good. But I grew up pretty much with them, and I was always into music, as my dad was. He was a drummer, and naturally, I kind of picked it up within the last few years. I, kind of impressed myself with it. And it's hard to impress yourself as a musician because I played for 23 years on guitar, and it took me 20 years to even look at myself as a professional musician. Just because you're so cruel against yourself, you know what I mean? And you don't realize how good you are because you hear things different. If somebody hears something I play, and they're like, and I'm like, well, all my life, you know what I'm saying? I played instruments, and it was always natural to me. If I want to play it, I played it. I got tricked into playing the guitar by a friend of mine in Florida. He said, you'll never be able to play a Nirvana song. I was like, really? He said, yeah, so I don't even know what you're talking crap. I was like, all right. So I learned a couple Nirvana songs when he wasn't around, and then I learned a Metallica song, one from beginning to end. And I didn't play guitar at the time, but I probably spent maybe like 2 weeks on it or whatever, just to get it right. Solo and all, I wanted to play it right. And I said, hey man, you got 10 minutes? And he goes, yeah man, but I gotta go to work. I said, yeah, I know, but I need like 10 minutes. He's like, why 10 minutes? I'm like, because the song's 10 minutes. He's like, yeah, right. So I plugged in and I played it, and he was like, really, dude? And I was like, what? And he's like, goes to walk away. I said, I'm not done, bro. I gotta do the solo and everything. He says, you remember it's the solo? You did the whole solo for Metallica 1. Yeah. He's like, you're kidding me, right? I said, no, bro. He goes, so he sat down and he watched it, and he, like, after it was done, he goes, I did that to say that just so you play guitar. And I was like, really? And I didn't even think about it. And he tricked me, and I was 16, so he tricked me into it. He was all into Nirvana. So within a few months, I started playing every day, and he told me, he's like, look, man, don't take this to heart, but you surpassed me already in like 2 months of playing, and I don't even know what to say. And I was like, did you say I couldn't play? He was like, yeah, but wow, dude, I mean, you like it. And then, yeah, ever since then, I play guitar. You know what I mean? I tried to quit it a few times, but you can't quit what you are.
How many years ago was that?
When I was 16, that's when I started playing, and I've been playing ever since. I've quit. I tried to quit once, and you know what I mean? My girlfriend said, hey, you play guitar in your sleep. I'm like, my life, dude. Are you serious? And she said, yeah. And I was like,
in your blood and in your bones, you can't stop.
That's it. I was like, damn, well, all right, I guess it could be doing worse in my sleep, but.
So
yeah.
Did you went to high school? You go to some
Yeah,
college?
I went to high school. I was in marching band for,
nice.
So
For playing drums?
No, actually, I played tuba. I was always friends with the drummers, though.
Yeah.
So I was always like really close with that. So I kind of picked that up naturally. just being around it. And then, you know, I just started kind of playing a little bit every now and then. You know, I'm not a drummer yet, but I'll get there. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty good with the sticks, you know, but I don't have a kit yet. So we'll see what's up. You know, I know I could do it. It's not a problem. But once people see you play drums, that's it. You're a drummer forever. It sucks because it's hard. It's the hardest thing in the band. I don't care what anybody says. You know, guitar's easy. I play all day. I literally can walk around and play all day. Playing drums all day, it's a workout. You know, especially if you're in metal and you're doing double pedal and you're running down the road the whole time, pretty much. So you guys, like, you go faster. You're like, oh, Jesus Christ.
What did you do after high school, James?
Basically, did a lot of restaurant work, did a lot of bands in between. You know what I mean? Whatever I had to get by. I did concrete work.
All in Florida?
Yeah, I've done all kinds of work. Mostly restaurant, though, for the most part, yeah. That's what I do now. I do the restaurant gigs in the stadium and shit like that. Yeah. I do all right. They pay pretty good, you know? But music's always there, and it's always, you know, it's the first go-to. If something happens, and boom, you know. It'll always be there for me. I always just try to think like maybe something else, but you know, I think I'm gonna go to school for it because it's all I've done all my life, you know.
So what was the transition from Florida to Washington?
Well, I came here. Honestly, I came here because I got arrested down south for weed. And I got arrested and I got jailed for 17 days for a CBD vape pen. They charged me with a felony possession and methamphetamine with that because that's what they charge it, because it's the same charge or something.
When you say down south, where is that?
Florida.
Oh, okay.
So they charged me with that, and when I got out, my lawyer said, look, you might just want to like go somewhere like Washington or something, because I mean, James, really? I said, dude, what's the chances I get pulled over, the cop searches it? I said, dude, it's a CBD pen. He says, doesn't matter. And even though the cop was like, bro, of course it's gonna fail the test, because they're both the same thing. It's gonna fail in the test. And the other officer's like, what are you doing? And then he like dumps the whole thing and tests it. No, I'm sitting there just laughing, going, wow, I'm going to jail for a CBD pen. This is crazy. People in Washington would be dying right now. I was like, this is nuts. So yeah, I did 17 days on that, and then I came here because my dad said, I'll buy you a plane ticket. And I said, all right, I'm on the way, because I mean...
Is your dad here?
No, my dad's down south in Florida.
Oh, gotcha.
But he was all about me coming back here, because I kept getting in trouble down there for just the stupidest things. I said, I got pulled over for a brake light, but there was no brake light out. And you know what I mean? They don't care.
How long ago
that was,
did you come here?
That was 3 years ago.
Okay.
And I've been here altogether 5 years. I went back once for about 9 months, and then I came back.
Gotcha.
So...
Well, how's it been since you've been here?
Great. I mean, I've done pretty good. Yeah, I'd say, I mean, the only thing that sucks is I haven't got housing, because I went into the shelter and the shelter said basically, we'll get you housing. And then, you know, I've been there for 3 years now. So no house, and I've had jobs, and they say, if you have the jobs, we'll get you in the house. But then the counselors either they quit or they get fired, or something happens and the case never gets transferred, and you're just sitting there. Yeah. So I literally use it pretty much as a shower, and somewhere to just go and put my stuff, and then maybe eat, and then I leave. Yeah. Because I can't. Yeah, you can't. I don't like the environment. It's like checking yourself into jail, but you didn't do anything wrong. Yeah. That's how I feel. So it's like, for me, I'm not institutionalized. Like some of the guys, they stay there every day and they're fine with it. I can't even stand in the damn. I gotta go. As soon as I get there, I'm like, yeah, I gotta get out of here. Yeah. So yeah, that's the only thing. And so the whole housing thing is supposed to be all this money spent on housing. I'm gonna tell you what, man. I've been here for almost 5 years altogether, and I ain't never had an apartment.
So no one's.
And I don't do dope, and I don't do that crap, and I ain't on no foil, and they don't care, because I don't know, something about me. Oh, you don't look like you belong here, so I don't look like I get a house, because I don't understand what that means. And she said, that's what they said when I got there. 2 of the workers said, you don't even look like you belong here. I said, what does that mean exactly? Yeah. I don't look like I belong here because I don't fit the description of somebody that doesn't have a house? Because I don't have a house. I came over here, I had nothing. I came here with a guaranteed that we'll get you a house, and I'm still waiting. But I mean, I've seen so many people switch out, and like the employees that work there, there's a few work there, they're really good that I like and stuff like that. But for the most part, I just stay away, because I don't even expect nothing from it. If you're gonna do something, you gotta do it for yourself. That's the way this is. Do
you feel like you kind of given up on the hope
of them getting me a house? Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
I don't even think about it, because it's like, yeah, I gotta go do it myself, and I'm gonna get it, and that's fine. But I don't like that there's some people out there might not be as strong-minded as me, and it might mess them up. You know what I'm saying? Like permanently. Like it could, being on the street, some people, they break. You know, I see it all the time. And everybody's not cut out for it, and it sucks. Being out here and out on the street, Sucks.
Tell me about that. I mean,
You know, it's just like,
what is that like for you?
it's, bro, I mean, you got to know where to go to get away from people. Otherwise, you'll never sleep because you always have somebody around your tent, or you always have somebody around where you're going to be and always want to just kind of bother you in a way. You know what I'm saying? And it used to be, in 5 or 6 years ago in Seattle, people were a lot nicer. Now I notice people ain't so nice no more. They're mean. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of confrontations. I got a lot of problems with people I don't even know. They just wander up and start crap. And you're like, yo, dude, I don't know you. Leave me alone. So I learned to just get away from it. You know, I leave Seattle. I get outside of Seattle. I got a tent one spot, a tent in another spot. If one goes down, I'm going to the other. So I try not, because I don't know how these guys, like how the tents, I tried that. No, that ain't for me, bro. You
mean like on the coast of the street?
Hell no. I did it like for maybe 3 days, and I was like, nobody deserves this. I told everybody out there, I don't know what y'all are doing, but there's a whole woods out there, like of just endless peacefulness, and you guys are out here lined up on the street, and I don't know, man. I can't do it. And they're like, really, where are you going? I don't know, but I'm gone. You know what I'm saying? Not here. There's plenty of places in Washington to camp that are freaking beautiful. You know what I mean? That I've been to, and you walk there and you're like, wow, how's nobody here? You know, so yeah, I go to the beach, I go to wherever people are, whenever, you know, yeah. You got to kind of get away from. There's a lot of people here too, a lot of people. Like we have a lot of people in Florida, but it's way more here. Like Seattle's crazy. Like with the, I'm like, Jesus. I look around sometimes, there's no way to get away. But I mean, there's some good people. You know, I've had people come up and give me things. Just, I can't tell you the material possessions I've had in Seattle. If I would have had a spot to be able to keep the stuff, would be ridiculous. Like, I have blessings. Like, people just walk in a sleeping bag. Eddie Vedder's brother walked me a sleeping bag and said, hey, do you know who I am? And I said, you look familiar. And he said, yeah, I'm the guy from, you know, I was like, you're kidding me, right? And he goes, no. Not at all. And I was like, damn, dude, well, thank you. And it was one of the nicest sleeping bags I ever had. You know what I mean? I was like, dude, I'm not giving it up. I had it for a while, I remember. And then my friend was like, yeah, that was a nice sleep bag. I said, yeah, it was. Eddie Vedder's brother come over and gave it to us. I was like, that was awesome. He's like, yeah, stuff like that has happened. You know what I'm saying? I've been blessed. I had a lady come and buy me dabs one time. She asked what I needed, and I told her, listen, lady, I honestly, I need some dabs. And she said, I'll be back. And my friend looked at me and said, you did just not send that old lady. I said, she asked me what, she come back with dabs. I was shocked. He said, you know what, James? Screw you. I was like, why, man? He said, because, man, that's crazy. No one's ever brought me dabs before. But yeah, so I've had some good things happen in Seattle, you know. It's not always bad, but
well, earlier you were talking to me, you've had some bad things too. You were talking about how you got your guitar stolen.
Yeah, in the center, I've got nighted out for not wearing a mask or something. And I'm in defiance because I'm a rock star. I'm always going to stand in defiance. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be that guy all the time to say no. Why? So I did, and they said, you're out for the night. I left my guitar. I come back the next day and was gone. Yeah, I was pretty pissed off about that. That people, it's still anything here, man. Yeah. You can't have anything you got. You have to keep within your eyes, and you have to have it. If you go to sleep, you better tie it to you or something, or sleep under it. It's ridiculous. Yeah. That's the one thing about Seattle I hate, because I don't steal nothing. But people will steal everything you got, dude. I had somebody steal my freaking shoes, my used, they weren't even nice. Used tennis shoes, because I left them outside the tent because they you know, they're bad. I woke up, they was gone. I'm sitting there like, I feel bad for the person who put them on, because they was rough. Just grabbed the tennis shoes. They were worst tennis shoes in the whole place.
Maybe they needed
them. They took them, maybe.
Maybe they needed
them. That's what my friend said. I said, oh, whatever. Yeah. So I had to walk to the, yeah, that was kind of messed up. You know what I mean? But I mean.
Well, let's see. You've been unhoused for five years?
Yeah, it's 5 years altogether here. I went back to Florida for like a little 9 months or whatever, but it's too hot down there.
When you went back, you stayed with family?
No, I stayed with one of my friends, and over there near his house, which is kind of rough. But it was basically outdoors all the time because his house is the way he does. There's no AC. I said, bro, you're the only person in Florida don't have an AC in your house. He goes, we got one, we just don't use it. I said, oh my God, and they literally don't, and it was miserable.
So you're in contact with your brother, your siblings?
Yeah, I talked to my brother, I talked to my sister. I talked to both of them. My brother, a little less than my sister. I think I talked to her probably more, you know. But yeah, we're good terms. There's nothing bad there. I stayed there at their house before I came here. And when I was staying there, she's like, look, you just got to get a job. And I was like, yeah, but I just think I'm going to go to Seattle because I ain't going to make no money here.
Yeah, tell me about that.
You know, so she said, well, I mean, I can get you a job. I said, yeah, for what, $10 an hour? I can go to Seattle and make $21 an hour, $22 an hour right now, serving hot dogs at the stadium. And she's like, are you serious? And they do tips. She's like, damn. I said, yeah, so what am I wasting my time? And pretty much she was like, all right, well, whatever. Are you gonna stay there forever? I said, no, but I'm gonna go for a while and get my head right. Because, you know, things happen in life and, you know, sometimes you need a break, you know, from the things that you did all the time. So I haven't really been in any bands lately because I've just been practice, you know, and it's not that I wasn't a good player before, but now I'm a better player. So the 5 years of being on the street, I will say that that's the one thing that I have made sure that I have perfected to me, not to anyone else. I have some guy asked me, hey, will you play me a song? I said, no. And he said, why not? I'm like, why? Am I your entertainment? Am I just supposed to just entertain you at all times? Like, I mean, what's going on here, you know? And he goes, man, he goes, I don't know, but I never thought about it like that. And I was like, yeah, everybody just sees me, and trust me, probably what I'm gonna play isn't what you're gonna wanna hear. And do you like Cannibal Corpse? He said, who? I said, all right. It's not gonna, we're not gonna see eye to eye here, buddy. But I met one guy. I've seen him on the bus yesterday, and I seen him one other time. But yesterday he had his guitar, and it was a 7-string, so I got to see him play for a little bit. And he's really good. And it's the only person I've run into in the entire Seattle since I've been here that I could look at and say I can make music with him. Usually I can tell when I see somebody. I just know. I know how a person carries himself, and I know if they're a player and stuff like that. I usually can tell. And yeah, I got him to see him play with. He had a Schecter like 7-string that was bad, and he had like the amp hooked in. I don't even know, man. I said, you got an amp hooked in? He said, yeah, and I got effects thing, wireless effects. I said, you gotta be kidding me, dude. You know what I mean? They have wireless effects now. He's like, yeah. I was like, oh my god, bro. He's like, yeah. So he's played a little bit, and I was like, oh yeah, you're good. And he's like, thank you. And like we, you know, had a moment where we could just, you know, as a musician, know if somebody can play. And he was, yeah, we definitely could stand on the stage and play together. That's for sure.
You said something earlier. I talked to somebody the other day and talked about, I came out here to get a break, to get my head straight.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
Just too much going on down south. Just too much stress. You know, things in life happen. People die. You know, sometimes it takes a little longer to get over things than it does others. You know.
Are you open to talking about that?
I'd rather not, honestly. I'm sorry. You know, it just I had a girlfriend that passed away, and it took many years for me to accept it, even to, you know. And yeah, it wasn't easy. You know, it's hard to find somebody when you do, and that person's taken away, and then you realize how precious life is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. You know, that's all I want to say about that anyways.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's not easy.
No, it's not.
No.
But yeah, I'm invincible pretty much. I make it through no matter what. I'm going to, like my dad says, he says, you know, I never worry about you because we could drop you in the middle of the desert with a knife and you'd survive. And I said, yeah, you gave me a knife. That's pretty stupid, Dad. It's guaranteed now, you know, and I've just always been that way.
Yeah.
I mean, I've kind of put myself through things to see if I could get through them. I put myself through things other people probably wouldn't even think of. Or why would you do that? It's like, why not, you know? Yeah. Nobody's going to be a critic on themselves. And nobody's going to be a critic to them as much as themselves. That's and right. I know that being a musician and an artist and whatever it is that you do, sometimes it's hard to admit that you're good, even when somebody that you think is better is telling you you're great. Yeah. You know what I mean? It takes a long time. You know, I had one musician in a band that to me was the best musician I've ever known, and I got to meet him, and he told me, you know, look, man, I heard you tonight, and you were dead in on it. He says, my sound amp on the left side was out. You stand on the left side. I heard you, and I tuned in you because I thought you were on my monitor. But my monitor went out, and I was like, quit. He goes, no, I'm serious, man. I heard you tonight. There was nobody around, no benefit to say that to me, and I was screaming the songs. And it was Suicide Silence before Mitch Lucker died. I got to meet him 2 months, maybe 3 months before he died. And to me, you know, that meant a lot. And I was like, wow, you know, he's like, is that hard to say? No, it's a fucking awesome thing. I think I've ever met anybody that, you know, and it made me realize the things that I didn't even know that I could do, you know what I mean? And it made me push harder into music, and that's what he told me. He said, whatever happens, never stop, because you never know when it's gonna happen. Because when music happens, there it is, and that's it, you gotta go with it. And sometimes, you know, you'll never see it coming. And it's like, okay. And he, you know, he died 3 months later on a motorcycle crash on the tour, just riding down the road. I know, that's how precious life is.
James, something I like to ask people is, what do you want the people of Seattle to know?
There's still musicians in Seattle that just isn't electronic push button start. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's other things out there. I really wish that music was as it was in the 90s for me. I think I would have fucking excelled a lot more. People see me with a guitar and they're just drawn to it. I don't know what it is about it. Maybe it's Kurt Cobain being here, or maybe it was the Nirvana. I'm not sure. But you walk in this city with a guitar and people look at you different. And I've tried it without the guitar. I don't even have to play. I could just carry it and I could get away with murder. I'm serious. That's how I felt. Like there was gunshots on the west side. I'm playing my guitar, I hear the gunshots. Whatever, here comes the cops. The cops don't even ask me a question. They go to the next two people. I'm standing there playing the guitar. I said, well, these cops ain't very good, because I'm saying I'm the over here metalhead, angry guy playing guitar, and you don't even ask me if you hear any gunshots. You just go by and wave. It's because I have my guitar. I was like, what the hell, dude? You know, I don't know. It's just something about this city. It still has that presence that it wants a star, and there's nobody here no more. You know what I mean? All that scene's dead, and everybody listens to the same... I don't know, man. I hear the same beat. Like I walked by a party on the beach the other day, and it was the same beat when I went to it and when I was going by it to leave. And I said, what? They've been listening to the same. No, man. Like there's more out there than that. You know what I'm saying? I guess some people like it, but I don't. Yeah. I'm into rock and roll. I'm into metal. I'm into anything that takes instruments, time, and musicians. And I feel like musicianship's fallen because of it. You know, there's the venues. It's hard to get a gig or to find anybody that's even serious about playing. Honestly, yeah, it's hard. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate your time, James.
Yep.
Thanks for sharing part of your story, man.
Yeah, man.
It's good to hear your voice.
Absolutely.
Right.
Thank you.
All right, let me grab that mic.
Yeah.
I gotta get a couple photos.
Yeah, this is a nice mic.